Again, how was this not mentioned? I want to do over Netflix. This is a legendary act from Fania Records, which would be the equivalent, like I mentioned in the other video, the equivalent of Motown, but for Spanish Latinx artists. This is the great Roberto Roena, Que Se Sepa. Was originally released on the album Apollo Sound 5 in 1973 and was composed by Titi Soto. So again, Fania would also harvest and showcase a number of Latino acts that would go on to be successful, acquire success, travel the world, see the entire globe, make money for a lot of recording companies. How was there no mention of them in this docuseries? This sound that you're hearing, that is very infectious, is known as boogaloo, and it is a genre of Latin music and dance which was popular in the United States in the 1960s. Boogaloo originated in New York City mainly among teenage Hispanic and Latino Americans. The style was a fusion of popular African American rhythm and blues, R&B, and soul music with mambo and son montuno, with songs in both English and Spanish. The American Bandstand television program introduced the dance and the music to the mainstream American audience. Pete Rodriguez, I Like It Like That, was a famous boogaloo song. And it would showcase so many other brilliant acts, that particular recording company. Johnny Pacheco, La Lupe, Celia Cruz, Tita Puente, Cheo Feliciano, Hector Lavoe, Willie Colon. Tell me, they made big bucks for these recording companies. They made big bucks. They're still known. There's some of them who are still alive are living legends. How did that not infiltrate its way into this docuseries? I don't understand that concept. So there's that. Having those influences of jazz, it would breed into what we know as disco. And let's just be honest, we had a number of white artists that took the vibe and ran with it and became very successful. Vicky Sue Robinson was definitely one of them. You can't tell me that now one particular discotheque in the 70s weren't playing her tracks. And this sound, where do you think? She even says it in the lyrics. Hear that percussion. Percussion. Where do you think that percussion sound comes from? I love it. It's one of my favorite tracks, trust me. And not for nothing, it would go on to be one of a dear track to a number of other up-and-coming artists at the time. Moving in from the 70s to the 80s is Gloria Estefan and the Sound Machine. Hello! She even covered this very song in the mid-90s, late 90s. So a little background on Turn the Beat Around is a disco song written by Gerald Jackson and Peter Jackson and performed by Vicky Sue Robinson, a white lady, in 1976, originally appearing on her debut album, Never Gonna Let You Go, released as a single, the song went to number 10 on the Billboard Pop charts and number 73 on the Soul chart. The song earned Robinson a Grammy nomination for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance. The track went to number 1 on the disco chart for 4 weeks. Turn the Beat Around is considered a disco classic and is featured on many compilation albums. That sound alone, where do you think it came from? Again, give people their credit where credit is due. You wouldn't have the current artists that you have now if it wasn't for these predecessors. Thank you. This song, I'm not 100% sure has that kind of rhythmic feel, but it was still a bop back in the day. And if you recognize it from Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, and she herself, even though I believe she is Philippine, but she lived very Latin. I don't care what anybody says. I relate. If I Can't Have You is a disco song written by the Bee Gees. The song initially appeared on the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack in a version by Yvonne Elliman, released in November 1977. 70s. The Bee Gees' own version appeared a month later on the B-side of Stayin' Alive. The song later appeared on the Bee Gees compilation The Greatest Hits, The Record. The remix version was released and remastered in the compilation Bee Gees Greatest in 2007 and marked the return of the Bee Gees to the U.S. Hot Dance Tracks charts after 28 years, according to Maurice. This track was the first song they did while they were recording the other songs to the film. The recording was started by Xoxo as a backtrack, only to be completed later at Cherokee Studios in Los Angeles. The vibe in itself, okay? So don't tell me that these things didn't make its way into mainstream pop culture. That sound alone. What does that tell you? Freestyle also. Again, freestyle had influences of that Latin beat, but I will say, in doing my research, I really want to do a thorough research, and I'll link everything that I found online below. I came across this page, grandveronas.com. Don't crucify me, I got it wrong. The Black History of Freestyle Music. And I quote, "The late great and house music pioneer DJ Frankie Knuckles once said that house was disco's revenge, and he wasn't lying. But in the years between the racist and homophobic driven disco backlash in 1979 and the rise of house music in the late 1980s, Black, Latinx, and LGBTQ clubgoers were building the queendom for the eventual reign of house music, and those building blocks including the sound of electro and freestyle music. When most people think of freestyle music, that is those who actually know or who are willing to admit that they know what it is. I'm one of them, I'll admit it. I loved it. My sister loved it. I was introduced by it by my cousin, so hello. They associate the complex genre of hard electro beats, loud bass drum, art orchestra hits, and Latin percussion. Again, Latin percussion, where do you think that comes from? Exclusively with Latinx and Italian communities, but like disco, freestyle is music has its roots in black music. At the start of the 1980s, the state of dance music was wobbly at best. While the genre still thrived underground, it was seen as poison at the mainstream level. That was until the introduction of the Roland TR-808 drum machine. 808, you know, that reminds you of Kanye. One of the breakout songs to utilize the magic of the 808 was Africa Bambaata's 1982 hit Planet Rock. The song not only forged a new direction for hip-hop, but it forever changed the sound of music. Electropop, which was widely referred to as a breakdance music in the early 1980s, exploded on R&B radio with songs One More Shot by C Bank featuring Jenny Burton and Play at Your Risk, and eventually in pop radio, okay, after the monstrous success of Let the Music Play in 1983, and black artists were at the forefront of the movement. So there you go. Lisa and the Cold Jam. Come on, that was a lot of percussion. So Lisa and the Cold Jam with Full Force, which was a collaboration merged between them in 1984. Record producer Kenny Beck discovered the song in a discarded bin. Can you believe that? This song is a jammy jam and has been a cult classic for decades. Okay, this song put her on the map. I don't care what anybody says. He released the album as a compilation in Europe on CBS Records and immediately gained popularity as a dance hit with club DJs there. Soon, American DJs began playing the song in the United States on Columbia Records. After the song received heavy play from these DJs, I Wonder If I Take You Home reached #1 on the Billboard Hot Dance Club Play chart for 1 week in June 1985. In other U.S. charts, it peaked at #6 on the R&B chart and reached number 34 on the Hot 100. In 1991, the single was certified gold in the U.S. by the RIAA. Overseas, it charted number 12 on the UK single chart and 41 in the Netherlands. Again, we made our influence. We made our presence known. That should have been a part of this docuseries. Really. John Secada. Okay, now we're moving into kind of the 90s. John Secada, Afro-Latino. This man made his presence known here's a little bio. From 1986 to 1991, Secada was a teacher in Miami-Dade College. In 1986, Secada was introduced to Emilio Estefan by his college acquaintances. Estefan listened to one of Secada's demos and then became Secada's mentor and manager. This led to Secada becoming a backup singer for Gloria Estefan's Miami Sound Machine, and then he went on to do his solo business and solo singer. He also made his presence known, one of the very few Afro-Latino acts, but he made his presence known on that American Billboard chart. Okay. Just Another Day is a song by Cuban-American singer-songwriter John Secada. It was released in March 1992, and the lead singer from the self-titled debut album, written by Secada and Miguel Morejon. The song reached #5 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 and #2 on the Adult Contemporary chart. It also peaked #1 in Sweden, #2 in Canada, #5 in the United Kingdom and New Zealand. The song was also recorded in Spanish as Otro Día Más Sin Verte, which peaked at #1 on the Billboard Hot Latin Tracks chart. Gloria Estefan sings background vocals on the song and is given writing credit for the Spanish language version. This is our history. So our baby girl Selena Quintanilla in 1995, unfortunately, after what we all know what happened with her, Dreaming of You charted peaked at #14, and I Can Fall in Love with You peaked at #3 on the Billboard charts. Unfortunately, it was after the fact, but she made her presence be known even after the fact. Hello. I Can Fall in Love is a song recorded by American Tejano singer Selena on her 5th studio album, Dreaming of You, released by EMI Latin on 26th of June 1995. I Could Fall in Love y Tú Solo Tú were the album's lead promotion recordings, showcasing her musical transition from Spanish to English language songs. The lyrics explore feelings of heartbreak and despair and express the singer's fear of rejection by a man she finds herself falling in love with. Composed by Keith Thomas, I Could Fall in Love is a pop ballad with R&B, soul, and soft rock influences. How do you not take notice of that? And again, if it wasn't for these artists, then we wouldn't have artists like Selena Gomez, right? We wouldn't have Camila Cabello, Havana. catchy little tune. And thanks to the predecessors and them breaking wing, now we have new artists with a lot more melanin. Amara la Negra. Again, we wouldn't have Bad Bunny, we wouldn't have J.Balvin. These are all part of American pop culture and music, and it makes money. Money for the United States. Thank you. This is dope. This is dope bop now. I give it to her. And now we're getting a lot more presence from Colombian artists making their way into the American psyche, American pop culture charts. Maluma, J.Balvin. J.Balvin was featured in, before COVID, Coachella. Those were unheard of. Acts were unheard of. Maybe even 10, as far back as 10 years, let alone 20, 30 years ago. So these are things to take into account, and it's infiltrated its way and perhaps even copied, unfortunately. But we are very much a part of the same numbers, the same amount of wealth for this country. And we bookend here, because again, we wouldn't have I Like It Like That wasn't for the Boogaloo sound. So I want Netflix to do that over again, trust me, and add these acts, add all of this information, how Afro-Latinos are also very much a part and ingrained in the American pop culture scene. It was essential, quintessential, so we can celebrate these artists today. So I'm gonna do another review soon. I think I'm gonna do a video, a quick video of a number of films that I believe have gone with no intention, or like the most underrated films, which I'm baffled because they were great films that honestly deserve all the love and attention. So that will be my follow-up, and I'm also getting into the Queen's Gambit, kind of digging it, so we'll see if I do a quick review on that as well. So stay tuned. If you like my reviews, give us a like, leave me a comment down below, and hit that notification button for my next upload. And until next time. Do your history, y'all. Bad Bunny. Till next time, y'all. Xoxo. NerdyGirl.